Well, after a couple of games where the third period totally sank the Calgary Flames, they were basically bleeding effort out on the ice. Probably deserved to win that game in regulation, but here we are. It's an OT loss for the Flames after a lights out performance by Dan Vladar. And Flames actually didn't want to go off at the ice at the end, but we'll get to that in a little bit. 3-2 the final for the Ottawa Senators. That's 5 wins in a row for them and a second straight OT loss for the Flames. I'm Cami. He's Kent. Thank you for joining us on Afterburner this lovely evening as the Flames just about wrap up their pre-holiday schedule. Kent, what are your first thoughts on that one? What feeling does it leave you with?
It feels like we've done this before. How many times have we been on this show and it's an overtime loss? At least an overtime game. It seems like every time we do this. It's the Flames go to overtime a lot this year, so I guess I thought they played well enough to win. Which has kind of been the theme this season, aside from the odd 8-3 loss to the Tampa Bay Lightning. But I thought they were the better team through stretches of the game. But it's a coin flip when you get into overtime a lot of the times, and Brady Tkachuk made a nice play. So.
And you know what? Brady Tkachuk probably deserved one. He sacrificed a lot of his teeth for that win tonight, and looked like he got cursed. It looked like he got the cheapest lip fillers advertised to him on Instagram. He's gonna wake up tomorrow with his face the robin.
Yeah, he's gonna have a purple sort of bottom of his face, I think.
Yeah, not quite Tom Wilson. Close. A mix between Tom Wilson and Sidney Crosby when he said he didn't have the mumps. But anyway, it would have been a fun game to take a couple swings at on Bet365. They got everything going on. You download the app day and use code NATION when you sign up, whatever the sport, whatever the moment. Never Ordinary and Bet365. Before we really get going here, though, folks, take a chance to support our Super Chat charity this season. Our partner is Youth Centers of Calgary. So if you want to make sure that your question or your comment, anything gets on the show, you can hit us with the Super Chat, whatever amount of money you want. But the proceeds will go to Youth Centers of Calgary, which is a place where kids are kind of welcome and accepted as they are, where they get to have a break from the chronic stress that is the reality for many of their lives, and they kind of flourish through connection and fun. So I don't know if you know much about it, but it's basically like a house that kids can go to, after schools. It's a bit of a safe place for them to be, just hang out, play some sports, play some video games, maybe learn an instrument. But, if you're out in like choppy waters and you feel like you're just treading, this is a good place to it's the metaphorical just breathe and take a bit of a break. So you can click the $sign in the live chat, select a sticker, and follow the instructions from there. But basically, depending on the amount of money you donate, it'll pin your comment for longer, and we'll make sure that we get to it as soon as possible. So any support for the Youth Centers of Calgary is super appreciated. But back to the game, I feel like the best place to start is the end. That overtime, oh my goodness. Insane chances at both ends. Dan Vladar makes a huge save. Kadri takes it back. Odd man rush, tries to feed Huberdeau. Allmark makes a save. Huberdeau is down into the boards hard and not happy about it, but goes back the other way. Stützle and Brady Tkachuk get it done, and then Tkachuk throws his stick into the stands. Makes some kids Christmas.
And then Kadri kind of changed on the way back too, so there was no back checker. So yeah, that's that happens. I don't know if that would have made a difference, honestly, with those two players. Probably Ottawa's two best players on a 2-on-1. That's probably going to be a goal anyways. But it was a really good chance for Huberdeau, and he seemed like he was pretty angry with a non-call there. I didn't see it close up to know if he's right or not, but it doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah, Flames furious about that one. Obviously really wanted to get it done because of the coaching. I don't think you can put any of this game on Ryan Huska at all. This was a coin flip. It happens in 3-on-3. You don't love the way it ended, but realistically, if you're gonna get mad at the guys who weren't burying into open cages in the third period when it's tied 2-2.
Yeah, it's as I've said most of the time on this show, I'm relatively happy with the way the team's been coached this year, given the roster that's been put together. They're competitive most nights. They had a chance to win this game, definitely. Um, didn't happen. Didn't get the execution at the end of the day, but yeah, fundamentally, I think the team is still playing relatively strong hockey.
It also looked like in the third, after Ottawa had taken a 2-1 lead, that the Flames are going to get bit by not the ghost of Christmas past, but the ghost of the distinct kicking motion. What did
Oh
you think
yeah.
of that? I thought that was a kicking motion for sure.
At this point, I don't know what the rule is because you've had the Coleman goal a couple of years ago in overtime where he's getting hooked, falling down. It happens to hit his skate. It goes in. They call that kicking motion, which was ridiculous. I think Backlund's the other night was somewhat similar to Huberdeau's tonight. That was called off. This one was allowed to stay. So it's just like, yeah, why don't you just let goals that go in off of skates count at this point or not? Pick one
Yeah.
because it's all pretty arbitrary, it seems.
I don't know the difference between a distinct kicking motion and a distinct stopping motion.
Yeah,
Apparently, it looked like
I
he
don't
was
think
already in the
they know
midst of
either.
stopping, and then his foot just took an extra.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Hey, you'll try to beat a
Oh,
goalie playing like that any way you can. Guess as good a time as any to just rip through a quick recap of the game. Blake Holman got it started, about 7:46 left in the first period. Calgary had all the pressure. Ottawa was gassed by the time that this goal came around. It was not a good game and a really nice dish on this
yeah.
play. He found Kevin Ball. You get the pass off the mark, really looking for that rebound. And yeah, Coleman's able to bury seventh of the year, 4 points in 4 games for our
How
Stanley
about that?
Cup champ. I'm not sure if we have that, since we're doing it tonight or not. I'm not sure if we have that goal or not there, but we'll just jump ahead to the Sens goal. Cousins leveling the game, less than a minute left in the first. Point shot, big rebound. Suns are on it, keep on firing, and eventually, shot goes off a Flame skate and lands on Cousins' stick, and he buries that. The former Flame, Travis Hamonic, getting a secondary on that one. Not a lot of scoring in the second period, but some big stuff. We saw Peltier so close to restoring the lead on a breakaway right into Allmark, but it doesn't happen without a great play from Jake Bean to break up the pass at the other end of the ice to Spring Peltier. We had the Cousins and Pahal fight. What'd you think of that?
Surprising. It seems like people are always trying to fight Cousins, though. I don't know how popular he is in the league.
Yeah, tough sledding for him. That took us to the third.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sens pulled through. Sorry, I'm going to try to figure out the sound if we get a chance here. I'm not too sure what's going wrong, but yeah, Huberdeau managed to get the tying goal that we saw there. Thought it was coming back, but hey, and that takes us to overtime, and that was that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to talk to tech support here, Kent. If you want to just tell me, let's just look at that homestand. We heard Michael Backlund talk about how important this was going to be for the team. They got 4 of a possible 8 right now. To you, what does this home stretch say about the team?
Well, it's like I said, they're still very competitive, and it might start getting harder and harder for the team to make a decision about what they should be doing this year because I'm sure they came into the year thinking we're going to be plucky. We'll see what we do. We're probably not going to make the playoffs, and it'd be a clear path to what do we do with the trade deadline? What decisions are we making? But they're still in the thick of it in the Pacific and even in the West, so there's no clear should we be auctioning Anderson or Vladar? Should we be looking for pieces? What should we do with Kuzmenko? Although he's probably traded or moved one way or the other. I'm not sure how popular he is with the organization at this point. But for now, I guess they're going to say, let's fight for the playoffs. indefinitely and until we can't. So it's interesting that they're in this position given the roster that they have and the sell off that they had last year. And it'll be interesting to see how long it lasts.
Let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to do a quick audio check here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Does it sound okay? Can you understand me, Ken?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Better?
Yeah.
Dang. Sorry, guys. It was fine when we were doing the audio check here. This is why I
Yeah.
never do the show remotely.
You never know, right?
Ugh, everything's falling apart here. Even half the stuff I had on my wall fell down in the last couple days because the command scripts are failing.
Oh no.
The audio's failing. Our pets don't have their heads.
Our heads have fallen off.
Pets are falling off. Oh, gotta pull that one back on throughout the holidays at some point here. But yeah, let's Dan Vladar. There was a lot of fuss about Dustin Wolf not getting the start tonight, but I do think Vladar was a good choice to go with, just even in terms of game load. Haven't really seen him since he got hung out to dry against Tampa Bay with that disaster third period. And to go to Wolf tonight, you'd be putting yourself in a position of having Vladar off for a very long time. I think it'd be up to just about 2 weeks without a game if he didn't start Saturday, plus the break, then coming back against San Jose. And this has been a very tandem-focused team. I don't know that Dustin Wolf has the success he's having if he doesn't have some nights where he gets a break and Dan Vladar puts forward a good performance. He ends up with 26 saves on 29 shots tonight. So it's an .897 save percentage. But to you, are the numbers indicative of how he played?
No, he played fine. I mean, there's no goal there where you go, well, that has to stay out, right? It was a completely competent performance. And you're right, the team might be emboldened by the platoon sort of structure that they have, by all of the success, especially they had, a month or two ago, where it was like they had the best even strength save percentage in the league for a solid 20 plus games, right? So the team might be thinking that worked. Let's keep doing that unless the wheels really fall off one way or the other. I understand the other side of it too, because Wolf is one of the most exciting young players on the team. He's perhaps the most exciting goalie prospect the organization has had in decades. If he plays enough games, he might be in the Calder race. So there's that sort of thinking behind let's play Wolf, especially since he has the best save percentage on home ice in the NHL as well. So lots of good reasons to want to see Wolf, but I can see it from the organization side too.
When you think back on more recent, or I don't know how recent this would be, but younger goaltenders with the Flames, have any of them ever really had a crazy workload where they're seeing more than 50 games?
Flames young goaltenders? No.
No,
None of them were good enough to
Flames goaltender.
None of them were good enough to warrant any sort of workload. No, it's been a very long time, right? It's I'm trying to Leland Irving, Yoni Ortio, John Gillies.
Future of the franchise for a hot 2 weeks there.
It's it'll be interesting to see how this sorts out over time. Is Vladar? They're going to have to kind of make a decision on that player too at some point. Are they going to trade him this year? Do they like to maybe have him as the partner for the next few years? Then they're going to have to re-sign him here soon. So I guess it might depend on how they view him, his value internally versus maybe the offers they get for him. So we'll see.
But if the goal is to push for playoffs as long as you can you say goodbye to Vladar at that point?
Yeah, that'll be a factor too. That said, they do have Devin Cooley, who is one of the best goaltenders in the AHL this year. So it seems like they might have depth there, but it'll definitely depend on how January and February go. Mostly, I think if they continue to do what they're doing and they're pressing for a playoff spot, I don't think they're going to take many chances. But if they have sort of the second half to this year that they had last year, then he'd probably be put up for auction at the trade deadline.
Also, probably expect to see Wolf getting the start in that final matinee against the
Yeah.
Blackhawks before the holiday break. That one should be a lot of fun. We'll take a look at the road ahead a little later. Well, if we are talking about exciting players, he was not rewarded tonight. I really thought Sharangovich was going to get one. He's had some rough outings lately. He does end up -1 tonight, but he had just over 15 minutes of ice time. He had 3 really solid chances there. That was someone who I think you wish he would have been rewarded for it tonight because he was really creating out there.
Yeah, which is you noticed it tonight because he hasn't been doing that for a while. He's kind of been a ghost, especially on that Zeri line with Peltier. Now you notice those two guys, or did notice them a lot more. And he kind of looked like the flat tire on that trio for a few games. But tonight, yeah, he had some looks, which is good. You start to hope that starts turning around for him because I looked at his the game log on NHL.com for him, and he's had some bad luck this year. He's got terrible on ice shooting. His personal shooting percentage and even strength is a third of what it was last year. But I looked at a few games where he had 0 shots, 1 shot, 0 shots, 2 shots. Like a player like that, not getting shots on net is really bad news because that's his primary strength, right? So if he's not getting shots, you're in trouble with Sharangovich. So tonight, I think, as you said, he probably had 3 or 4, and hopefully they start going in for him because he's not of much use. The player he's been the last couple of weeks, he needs to turn back into the guy he was last year.
I mean, if you're going to talk about a player who's trying to just be useful and find a niche on this team, does Jacob Peltier have a future as a penalty killer?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've really liked him since he's come back up. I like Peltier as a young guy a couple seasons ago. Then he got injured, and he looked very tentative on the ice for a long time after that, and a little bit to start this year in preseason and things. But he looks a lot more assertive now. You notice his speed a lot more. He's winning puck battles. He's tenacious along the boards and stuff, and he does have good hockey sense. So it'd be interesting to keep him on the PK to see if he can build out a niche there for sure, because it looks like he can be sort of a Swiss Army knife player because he does have enough skill to make offensive plays too.
Yeah, there was a graphic that Sportsnet pulled up today just looking at his time on ice shorthanded the last 3 games. It was just over 5 minutes of ice time, no goals against, 2 shots allowed, and just 1 high danger shot against. And that's big for a guy who previously was looked at like he's going to have to put up some points if he's going to be useful to this team.
Yeah, you're right. There's players who come up through junior and stuff as stars and then discover they're not going to be a star anymore at the NHL level. That was kind of the Michael Backlund story when he was younger, where he came up and they figured out eventually he wasn't going to be a 30 goal, 70-point center, and he eventually found that role as a premier two-way guy. So maybe that could be something that Peltier could do as well.
Shout out to our buddy Derek Newman, group with CIR Realty. Buying or selling, you can let Derek do the work for you. Shoot him an email at dnewman@cirrealty.ca or call 403-619-6661. It is all the complimentary in-home house staging consultation, accountable, available, whether it's your first home or you've been in the game a while. He'll take the time to understand your goals. He'll do the pre-listing consultation and help you every step of the way with the marketing plan and an analysis of other comparable homes in the market, which is a really good way to suss out where you're at. So if you're interested in buying or selling in the greater Calgary area, give Derek a shout at 403-619-6661, and he'll make it easy for you. Let Derek put his network to work for you. Special teams, your favorite topic.
Is it?
I mean, I feel like we talk about
Actually,
it
it's not that
every time.
Well, it's,
I mean, we did get to see
you know,
the
there's been
rare power
periods where
play
they
goal
were
tonight,
awful,
which was
right?
great.
Yeah. I mean, the
I thought
PK is
the
still pretty
Flames
bad,
penalty
right?
kill was fantastic tonight. The
Yeah,
Sens
for a
have a
change.
top 10 power play in the NHL. They hold them 0 for 3 and what was one? High stick on Brady, and it's a double minor.
That's right.
I don't know. We need a hockey version of Not Like Us, and we need it soon. But no, there was like 3 shots on the double minor. The Flames did such a good job, and they generated some good shorthanded chances. There was Backlund with that partial break. It was a really good way for them to generate momentum, surprisingly, when special teams tends to just suck it out of that building.
Yeah, and it's the PK. The funny thing is it's gone through periods where it looks totally competent to me, but they still get scored on. And then there's periods where that Tampa Bay game where they're just horribly outclassed by great talent. But I haven't watched the PK through a lot of the year and been like, what a dumpster fire this is. It just seems like a lot of the time they're just being beaten or goals or pucks are going in, right? So I think it will improve as a matter of course, because I don't think they're playing, bottom 3 penalty kill in the league. I don't think they're actually that bad.
If you had to pick one area that you would fix in the Flames game, what would it be?
Oof.
One.
Overall,
Just
what
one.
would I say?
You can pick one thing.
Yeah. Let me think about it. It's, the big thing that I've looked at, I wrote about this for Post Media recently. I think it was recently published, was just their even strength scoring, right? And I looked at it and they had high volume of shots, but they were bottom third in the league in terms of the quality of the shots. And, I don't know if you can fix that just given the roster that they have. Huska has made a game plan of trying to keep them in it, and they're not going to be, high octane trying to outdance and outplay teams with the offensive forecheck or anything. So it's tough to say if you could fix something on the team, being a better 5-on-5 offensive club would do a lot. But I don't think that's something you can fix with the roster and the talent that you have currently. I think that's the point of the transitional period and the rebuild that they're in.
Well, the Flames may not have necessarily one superstar there on the team, but there was one at the Saddle Dome tonight. We had Tate McRae back. Kent totally knows who Tate McRae is.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan.
Well, there she is, Calgary's own Tate McRae, superstar, pop star, dancer.
Heck yeah, Calgary royalty.
Can she play center? Yeah, we need a center. We need a superstar.
She can't
center.
put on goalie pads correctly, unfortunately, but
yeah. Fair enough.
Her brother played hockey for the Okotoks Oilers, but super cool to see, someone from Calgary getting that kind of international attention. She played her first big show at the Stampede last summer, and that was huge for a lot of people. Tate McRae, Stu, educate yourself, read a book. Just kidding. I don't know what book Tate McRae would be in, but I don't know. It's almost like a new generation Britney Spears with like the type of baby voice going on and just like crazy dancing, but super talented. You might have spotted a pretty cool jersey she was wearing. The throwback Iggy.
Nice. That's a classic.
And he was also in the building tonight.
There you go. Yeah.
What's that?
I said he was there too tonight, right?
Yeah, he was. I think today is the anniversary of his trade to Calgary. 29
that's right.
long years. So let's see if we can take a gander at his quick conversation with Ryan Leslie tonight.
Camp, and the team had already been just made. And I got a call. It actually woke me up in the morning. It was our head coach of Team Canada, Marcel Como. And he called me, and I was like just waking up, and it wasn't usually they call in the morning, but the team had already been made. Otherwise, I would have been real nervous. Right. But he said, "Hey, I just want to let you know you've been traded to Calgary." And honestly, my first thought was like, Kamloops. You know, I really enjoyed in Kamloops. We'd won the previous 2 years, and I thought, oh, and then I was like, oh, the NHL. Like, I just never thought, you know, you'd be traded or thinking in those terms before. But yeah, it was pretty nerve-wracking. And then after I talked to Al Coates and Bob Gainey, and a lot of emotions for sure. And but my family and I were very excited and thrilled the way it worked out.
And a lot of pressure, right? A young guy, you get traded for Joe Nieuwendyk. I just wonder what that whole experience felt like at the time. I'm sure you were feeling the weight a bit.
Yeah, Corey Millen and I got traded for Joe Nieuwendyk, 50-goal scorer, you know, won the Stanley Cup here, playing at the top of his game, really. So it was a little different, and it was helpful to talk to, you know, Al Coates. And on the one side of it, I'm thinking, you know, what did I, you know, maybe Dallas didn't see enough in me, you know, in that sense of draft, and maybe not. But, you know, after understanding that they're going for it, and Joe would be a big part of their team. And so, you know, what I was thinking back actually today, and I didn't feel pressure like that. I was excited that Calgary wanted me and that they had that confidence. And thankfully that I remember reading articles, and there was like, you know, and I can't blame the fans wondering, you know, what a young guy, like, yeah, for, you know, part of the Joe Nieuwendyk one. But thankfully that tournament went well at Team Canada. We won. I had some, you know, a good tournament, so it helped ease some pressure. But it was exciting and a little bit of pressure there for sure.
No doubt. And it just seemed to work out, didn't it, Jerome? I mean, you couldn't have scripted it in terms of career any better.
Yeah, it's I got a great opportunity, and you know, when you get a part of trade like that, you're a team picking you, you know, they like you, but they're going to play you at a young age. And I got lots of great opportunity here in Calgary. It was awesome with my family being able to come, friends down, and a lot of great memories. And it worked out for Dallas. Obviously, they won, and Joe Nieuwendyk was a Conn Smythe, one of, you know, of the Stanley Cup championship. So yeah, it was neat the way it worked.
Hey, appreciate it. 29 years. It's hard to believe the time goes so fast, and we appreciate you stopping by. Thanks for this.
29 years. He's like he could get on the ice today and just dominate people. Like whatever him, Timu, Solani are doing, like drop the workout routine. Like we need to know, how are you still like this?
Yeah, it seems to go one of two ways for ex-hockey players. Sometimes it goes, they stay fit forever, and other guys just, they haven't eaten pizza for 20 years, and they're going to eat as much pizza as they possibly can now. And good for them.
Yeah, they're not rocking the chickpea pasta that Nathan McKinnon's peddling.
No.
And you just know he's going to be one of them. Nate McKinnon's going to be the next Rod the Bod. We're calling it now, right?
Oh, yeah. He'll be obsessed forever.
Yeah. But Iggy was talking a little bit about World Juniors there. First pre-tournament games went in Ottawa and Kingston today. Obviously, no Perek for Canada. Bummer for Flames fans. So they'll just have Axel Herding from the Hitmen representing Sweden. So they're playing their first pre-tournament game against Canada on Saturday night. Canadians ripped it up today in pre-tournament play, 7-1 against Switzerland. Easton Cowan hat trick. Captain Braden Yeager, a Jets prospect, he scored a goal. Nashville Predators prospect Molendyke, a really nice assist. It's just Switzerland. I don't want to like poo-poo it by saying just Switzerland, but a team that doesn't have the same firepower, they looked good against them. But Sweden will be a much bigger test on Saturday night.
It's going to be an interesting tournament given the way the selection process has gone. There's a lot of second guessing on this roster. A lot of high-powered talent has kind of been sidelined a little bit. I know Gavin McKenna was 13th forward, wasn't playing tonight. Sam Dickinson was scratched as well, which is pretty surprising. So, I mean, if they run through the tournament and win a gold, nobody's going to second guess that, obviously. But if they don't, there'll be a lot of hard questions asked, I think.
And stressful because it is such a short tournament that there's not a lot of time to adjust. You just have to basically hope that you got it off the get-go, because even by the time they brought in Jagger Firkus last year, obviously that was because of an injury. He still didn't even, see the ice, and they just
it's
couldn't
tough.
buy goals. Yeah. And one of the guys who got left behind, Carter Yakimchuk, just set a franchise record as the top scoring defenseman in Calgary Hitman history.
Well,
Right
there you
after
go.
a year
Good
where
for
he
him.
set the single season scoring record for them with 30 goals as a D-man.
Yeah, and it's, you know what, to some degree, I understand the reluctance sometimes to pick a player like that, because I've seen some scouting on him, and he is, sort of the Dougie Hamilton player where he puts up huge numbers, but you can pick coaches and people out of the crowd who don't like his game, because there's just certain fundamental aspects of it that as a defenseman, it makes them very nervous. So sometimes players like that can be divisive and don't end up on, coach picked rosters like this.
There's a little positivity in the chat for once tonight, man. I don't even want to look over that at this point, but on the plus side, he can pump that record up by not missing any games for the Hitmen. They're loaded up. They want to make a run for it this year, and I think a lot of the players think that the Hitmen will be one of those teams challenging for a championship this season. So check them out on the stretch. I think they're playing Medicine Hat after the break. Obviously, sans Gavin McKenna, but that'll be some good stuff. Where do you usually watch World Juniors from, or do you like that tournament?
Yeah, it depends on where I am. So if staying home with the folks, my dad was my first hockey coach and coached actually at a relatively high level for a long time. So I'll watch it with him sometimes. This year I'm visiting the in-laws. So my father-in-law is also a big hockey guy. He's in Medicine Hat. He sometimes actually works the score clock for the Medicine Hat Tigers and stuff. So he'll be a big fan of taking in those games.
That's great. Actually, the Tigers have a photographer who sometimes sings the anthem. He does a really good job.
Good for him. Double threat.
It's something. It's something. But for anyone else planning on checking out World Juniors starting on Boxing Day, obviously the pre-tournament game on TSN as well if you want to be checking those out. Go to games at Richmond's best neighborhood club featuring sports. They've got like 22 big screen TVs. So there's always a view. They turn on the games, like the game audio, which is huge for me. I don't like it when you go to watch a hockey game and you can't actually hear the play-by-play. So they got that going for them, which is nice. They have Barn Burner Blonde and 6-shooter Sutter Lager all day long at a very special low price. They got the Coors Original Seltzer Light. I don't know, do you call them flavors? Every denomination of Coors?
Version,
I don't know, all the different beverages
variation
at every Flames game. They're only $6 there. So if you're going on Saturday, a day for it. And that's our buddies over at Richmond's. Mentioned the Blackhawks game quick. They are playing Seattle tonight. It was 1-0 last I looked at. Yeah, the Blackhawks did close this one out 3-1. That's a big win for them. They've been struggling as of late. We've got goals from Mikheyev, 2 from Mikheyev, and Nolan Allen getting his first to seal that one. So that'll be fun. They're rolling into the Dome for the matinee. Last time Chicago was here, that was when Calgary had that insane streak to start the season. Coronado scored twice. It was a 3-1 victory for the Flames. Likely to see Wolf. And then we've got the 6-8 break after that, back on the 28th against the lowly Sharks. Then this is where it gets a little tricky. Back-to-back on the road against Noah Hannafin and the Pacific Division leading Vegas Golden Knights. Tough sledding. Entering tonight, they've scored the second most goals of any Western Conference team. They shut out Calgary 5-0 in October. And yeah, I'll close out the road ahead, taking a look at those last 2 games. You have the New Year's Eve match against a team battling to hang on one of those Western wildcard spots in the Canucks. Vegas and Vancouver actually playing each other tonight. And then we get to see Utah again, another team that really handed Calgary their butts earlier this year.
It's an interesting schedule. I want to see what happens in Vancouver this year because they have that weird melodrama happening out there. JT Miller versus Elias Pettersson and the team underperforming and who's going to get traded, and it's bizarre.
Everyone versus everyone out there. I don't know how anyone in the Canucks space functions. Media, player, fan.
Yeah, there's always some
It's
sort of
exhausting. They talk about
antagonism.
it the way other people talk about politics.
I know. Yeah. They should be a better team than they are for sure, given the talent. So it must be pretty frustrating, at least for anyone who just wants to go and watch good hockey or coach good hockey or play good hockey.
Yeah, it sure is something. Well, good as time as any to take a look at what's coming up with our friends at Bet365. Mentioned earlier, code still Nation. If you sign up, open an account today, bet on a huge range of markets. Let's see, what was catching your eye on the board today, Ken?
You know what? I couldn't really settle on anything. Like the Rangers are terrible. I wouldn't bet on them ever right now. They seem to be imploding like a failed star. What else is out there? How about you? Anaheim Mighty Ducks? Nope.
I mean, if we're going to talk about teams collapsing in on themselves like a dying star, what are those Buffalo Sabres up to?
Oh, God,
Bet
yeah.
the
How are they still this
over.
bad? It's amazing.
No, I literally remember like sitting around with my friends in high school, getting the news about the Christian Ehrhoff trade and thinking, oh, Buffalo's going to be nasty. It never happened.
It's been a long time. That's right. I wish we could bet on the terrible panic trade that they're going to make at some point. That's something I try to bet on. Get a fourth round pick for Cousins or something.
Yeah, we'll bet on whether players have their phones on silent or audio up.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel for Buffalo Sabres fans. They've been through it for a very long time now.
Anything else that you wanted to hit before we get to some questions and comments here? Although I don't know if we really want to see what questions and comments we're getting out of this group tonight.
Oh boy, okay. I just want to say I really enjoyed Matthew Coronado recently. I think he's starting to turn into a difference maker on this team, and he's playing on a line with Backlund, which means he is not playing soft minutes at any point at even strength. So he is always catching my eye in every game, and sometimes for different reasons. You know, sometimes he's potting a goal, got a goal and assist, or he got a couple points tonight again. But sometimes it's for a good defensive play or a good board play and stuff. So, his development has been very rapid since the start of the season. And it's good to see.
Yeah, it was crazy hearing them talk about pregame as a guy they see like 30 goals soon.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll be this year or anything, but he's definitely on the path to be a very useful, versatile top six winger, which is great. I mean, even if he doesn't get to that 30 goal range, and I think he has the release to do it, it's more important that you can also be put into tough circumstances and play well. It's nice to have players like that on the roster for sure.
Would you see, or do you think there's a reason why players like that are not getting the nod to start overtimes?
I think that's just the veterans first sort of mentality of most coaches. And Huberdeau and Kadri do lead this team in scoring, so I understand that too. And have long histories, bigger resumes. Over time, it's just the type of thing that will have to develop. Coaches will go with the guys they know and the guys who have a decade plus under their belts, and they've scored 70 to 100 points in the league. I understand it, but I think Coronado is definitely getting close to the point where, yeah, he should be one of your first touches in overtime.
Thank you. for your sober second thought there. And on that note, we'd like to shout out our buddies at Sober Carpenter. The best of craft beer, none of the hangover. They're celebrating 5 years of brewing award-winning non-alcoholic craft beer. They've got it all from the hoppy IPAs, the rich Irish reds, flavor without the buzz and without the regret. They're at Sobeys, Loblaws, or delivered right to your door. You can order at sobercarpenter.com or just at your favorite liquor stores all across Alberta. And cheers to 5 years of staying true to the craft. I'll tell you, that is not what is on tap for tomorrow with those boys getting ready for their annual holiday spirits show.
Right. That'll be a good one.
So I wonder if they kind of just started tonight.
Yeah, maybe. I can see Pender doing that, but I couldn't do it at my age. I'd have to really put in time before that and drink water and be in good health.
I know Ryan texted me and said, like, come by tomorrow. And I like, do we need to bring anything? Like, do you want a loaf of bread?
Some coffee? Yeah.
A little something.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up. Let's see, do we have any questions or comments we need to get to tonight?
Yeah.
Ooh, what is the marquee event you're looking forward to more? World Juniors, Winter Classic game, or other? I enjoy World Juniors because it's kind of, I look at it as the last level where really anything can happen. It's junior hockey.
Yeah.
You get wild momentum swings because I'll pick on the 2014 Olympics. I know it was a crazy time change for us watching the men's hockey, and I know Canada won gold in a 3-0 shutout, but it was so boring and clinical. It was not a crazy game. It was not the Crosby Iginla overtime moment. So I really enjoy World Juniors for that, even if Canada totally flames out, because I love seeing teams like Czechia or when Finland had those really strong teams come through. I love seeing just how much those wins mean to those kids, or when Denmark got their win, even if it's just a round robin game. So that's the marquee for me. How about you?
Yeah, same for me. I really enjoy World Juniors. It's best on best at that age too, which is great. But you're right, they're not professional, so there's still mistakes can happen, and it means a lot to everyone who's playing. As you say, even if you're, an underdog and you win a round robin against Canada, or if you're any of these kids and you win a medal, it means so much to them. So their heart's on the line. Everyone's playing their guts out. Everyone's highly skilled and highly committed. So it's fun hockey.
We also have Vern Fiddler's son is on the preliminary roster for Team USA. Yeah, so we have a dual citizen kid on US. Blake Fiddler's a defenseman for the Oil Kings, but he's projected first round pick for the 2025 NHL draft. But yeah, I guess that is the marquee event we're most looking forward to. Let's see, I think we have time for maybe one or two more. Wolf starting on Saturday. Yes.
Yeah.
Or
there'll be a riot.
Yeah. All right, one more. I'm so sorry about my audio, everybody. I do not know what's wrong. I will never do this show from home again to make sure that this doesn't happen. Why no Coronado and Zeri in OT? Because we didn't get far enough for a shift change.
That's probably part of it too. It was very brief. I think that will be a duo that might start this year, but in the future, I think we can bet on that happening.
Yeah, well, it seems like we should wrap it up there, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I don't want to look at that chat. Every time I looked over there, it was like a fun new kind of train wreck. Plot twist, Cami isn't even my real name, so I don't care how you spell it. Everyone spells it wrong. I save all my old media passes, and I don't think. Yeah, I have my Heritage Classic one from Regina, and they spelt it the same way it's being spelled in the chat tonight. Just wrong. Incorrect. Still wrong, Scarwalker.
There you go.
Oh, actually, Daryl nailed it.
Actually, I think
I'm
the
rebanding to
show
Cami
should.
with the Q.
I think the show should just be you sparring with the comments now. I like it.
Nightmare. Nightmare. All right, everybody. Go to bed. Thanks for hanging out with us. 3-2 OT loss for the Flames at the Sens. They're back on Saturday. Barn Burner is back tomorrow with the Holiday Spirit Show. Have a good one, everyone.
Awesome.